This lesson, we're going to learn about reflecting shapes. So write down the title and date and have a go at these starter questions, please. Pause the video. Okay, here are the answers. Moving on to the nodi wers. So the nodi wers for today is to be able to reflect a shape. So pause the video and write this down in your books, please. Okay, let's jump into the lesson. So, here on the left we have a bike. In between the bike, to the side of the bike, we have a mirror. And on the right hand side, we will have what the bike will look like if it has been reflected in a mirror. So pause the video, have a little think to yourself or chat to your partner next to you. What do you think the bike will look like in the image on the right? Have a think about which way the bike will be pointing, whether the bike will be the right way up or upside down, or whether the bike will look differently in any way. Okay, let's pause the video and have a think about how the bike will change when it's been reflected in a mirror. Okay, so here's the bike. So well done if you guessed that the bike would not be pointing to the left anymore. It would be pointing to the right, okay? So this was the original image. This is the reflected ones on the right. So the bike does look exactly the same. It's still got a handlebar, seat, pedals, brakes and all that. But the only thing that's changed is that the bike is now facing a different direction, okay? So that we're looking now at a mirror image of the bike, okay? And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be drawing mirror images or reflecting shapes along a line, okay? So let's jump into it. So there's going to be two parts to this lesson. The first part is we're going to draw the line where our mirror is going to be so that we can reflect the shape. And the second part of the lesson will actually be reflecting shapes. So first part, we're going to draw all our lines of reflection for all of the shapes on our worksheet. So if we look at the first question A, we're told that we need to reflect this shape in the x-axis. Now, this diagram's already been labeled for you as all graphs. All graphs, the line that goes horizontally is the x-axis, and the line that goes vertically is the y-axis. So if I want to reflect a shape in the y-axis, first I have to draw the line of symmetry, which will be exactly along the x-axis in this case, okay? So pause the video and draw this line of reflection on your first shape. Okay, let's have a look at the next example. So now we're asked to reflect in the line x equals 1. So hopefully remember from a couple of seconds ago, the x-axis is the one that goes across and the y-axis is the one that goes up. But we're looking to reflect in the line of x equals 1. Well, what is the line x equals 1? Well, if we look at the center of our graph here, we can see a 0. Now this is called the origin of the graph, okay? So this is where the x and y coordinate is 0, okay? Now, as we go to the right on this graph along the x-axis, there aren't numbers on it, but usually there would be number 1, 2, 3. So in this case, each square is representative of one block or one unit, okay? So we're looking to draw a line where x is always equal to 1. Well, when x is 1, it's one step in the right direction, okay? And to draw a line where x is always 1, I have to draw a vertical line from the top that comes down and cuts through 1 on the x-axis, okay? So that is the line of x equals 1, okay? So pause the video and draw this line on question B for me, please. Okay, let's have a look at another example. Now we've got C reflect in the line y equals 1. So again, just like the x-axis, if I was to number the x-axis out of 1 going across, 2 going across, 3 going across, we're looking to reflect the line y equals 1. So we need to start looking at the y-axis. In this case, positive when we go up. So in this case, that is 1, that's 2, and that's 3. So where is the y equals 1 point on this graph? Well, it's here, where y is 1 on the y-axis. And to draw a line where y is always equal to 1, we're going to start going across. We're going to draw a line horizontally that cuts through the y equals 1. Okay? So this line, at any point, if you were to check the coordinate, the y coordinate would always be 1. Okay? So that's what it means by drawing a line y equals 1. Okay? So pause the video and draw this line on question C for me, please. Okay, so your first task is to read each question, and I want you to draw the line of symmetry or the line of reflection for each of the questions. So for the first 3 that we've done, it was the x-axis, x equals 1, and y equals 1. So hopefully this shouldn't take too long. Have a quick 5 minutes and draw all the lines of reflection for all the questions of the worksheet that we're going to do today, okay? So pause the video, please. Okay, so let's go through the answers very quickly. So if you have drawn them correctly, perfect. If you haven't, just let the teacher know to pause the video so you can quickly correct it. So hopefully you all got A, B, and C right, because I did those with you. Let's have a look at the next one. So this is D, E, and F. Hopefully you've all drawn those correctly. Next one's G, H, and I. Hopefully you've all drawn those correctly. Then we've got J, K, and L. Hopefully you all got those. And then finally, we've got M, N, and O. So hopefully you've got all those right as well, okay? Now, for the second part of the lesson. So now we've drawn the lines of symmetry. We want to reflect the shape. We want to reflect this shape in the x-axis or on the x-axis. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to look at all the points of the shape that's already drawn in. So this is a rectangle, so we've got 4 points. And we're going to measure how far it is from each point to the line of symmetry, and then do that distance again in the opposite direction of the line of symmetry, okay? So for these first 2 points, it's very easy. Because they are on the line of symmetry, these 2 points will stay on the line of symmetry. These 2 points up here, though, if I do the one on the right first, how many squares do I have to count down until I hit the line of symmetry? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this point is 4 squares away from the line of symmetry. That means in order to draw the shape reflected, I have to draw that point 4 steps in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do the same with this top point on the left now. How many points to the line of symmetry? 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, I have to count 4 points away from the line of symmetry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Color that in. Now I've got all 4 reflected points drawn in. I'm going to connect the dots. And I'm just going to shade in the shape so you can see nice and clearly where the reflected shape is, okay? So pause the video and copy down this example on the first question A, please. Okay, second example. So for question B, we're looking to reflect this shape in the line x equals 1. So we've already drawn the line x equals 1. And now we're going to reflect the shape. So let's identify the points of this shape. Well, we've got one there, one down there, one up there, one here. So let's start with this point that's on the line of symmetry. Because it's on the line of symmetry, we don't need to do anything with it. We're happy with that one. Let's do this other point on the bottom of the shape now. How many squares away is this from the line of symmetry? 1, 2, 3. Therefore, to reflect this point, I have to count 3 squares in the other direction. 1, 2, 3. What about the point in the top left of the shape? How many squares is that away from the line of reflection? 1, 2, 3. So that means I have to count 3 in the other direction. 1, 2, 3. And the final point, so I guess you call it top right point of the shape, how many is it away from the line of reflection? 1, 2. Therefore, we have to draw 2 squares away from the line of reflection. 1, 2. Draw in our final point. And now we just connect the dots. Make sure you use a ruler so it's nice and neat. And then this is our reflected shape, reflected in the line x equals 1. So pause the video and copy this example down for question B, please. Last example now. So now we've got question C. So we're looking to reflect this shape here in the line y equals 1. Hopefully we've all drawn the line y equals 1. But me. So I'm going to start off on the far left here. So let's find all the points. So I've got 1 point here, going down, going across, back up, across, and down again. So these are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of this shape, okay? So I'm going to start on the far left of this shape. So the top corner of the far left. How many squares away is it from the line of reflection? 1, 2. That means I have to count 2 squares up. 1, 2. Drawing that point. What about the point below that? How many points is that away from the line of reflection? 1, 2, 3. Therefore, I have to count 3 squares up. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come across now to this point in the bottom right of the shape. How many squares is that away from the line of reflection? 1, 2, 3. That means I have to count 3 up. 1, 2, 3. Coming up from that bottom point here, how many squares is that away? 1. So that means I'm going to have to draw 1 square up. Going to the left. How many squares is this way from the line of symmetry? It's only 1, so I'll go 1 up, and then 1 up again. So 1 to the line of symmetry, and then 1 away from the line of symmetry, sorry. And the point below that one, to get to the line of symmetry, it's 1, 2. Therefore, I have to go 2 away from it. 1, 2. So there you go. I've drawn all the 6 reflected points now. Now all I've got to do is to take a ruler, nice neat straight lines, not like these currently, and connect all the points up, down, left, right. And I'm just going to shade in the shape so you can see what it looks like, okay? So pause the video and copy down this final example, please. Okay, so let's go move on to the main task. So here's all the completed examples again for you. Now have a go at the main task, okay? Take your time. Make sure you do your first attempts of reflection in pencil, okay? Try not to do this work in pen, because if you make a mistake, you won't be able to correct it, okay? So pause the video and have a go at reflecting all the shapes in the task, okay? Best of luck. Okay, so let's go through the answers. So hopefully you all copied A, B, and C in the example. Let's have a look at the next ones. D, E, and F. Pause the video if you didn't get them right and you want to correct it. Moving on. J, K, and L. Then we've got M, N, and O. So hopefully you got them all right. It's a tricky topic to get your head around, but hopefully you didn't find it too tricky, okay? So now for the checking question, I've got two sets of shapes here. A was my original shape. So for the first question, sorry. For shape A, I reflected it in a line so that I would get shape B. So I reflected shape A to get shape B. What was the line of symmetry I had to use to reflect A to get shape B? And similarly, for shape C over here, what line of symmetry or line of reflection did I have to use to reflect shape C to get shape D? So pause the video, have a look, and write down what you think the line of reflection was for these shapes. Okay, so Hopefully you've had some time to look at these two graphs and have a think about where the line of reflection is. So for the first one, shape A, hopefully you realize that the line of reflection was, hopefully you realize the line of reflection is always exactly between the two shapes that have been reflected. I'm drawing it nice and clear on here now, okay? So this line, actually, there were two names for this line you could have given, okay? The first one, you could have called this line the y-axis. Well, then you get a point if you called it the y-axis. But if you called it the line x equals 0, then very well done, because in maths, in geometry, we would never call the line the y-axis as such. We would always call this line x equals 0. So well done if you did say y-axis, but ever so technically the answer would be x equals 0. Okay, so well done if you got that right. And for the next one here, we got shape C reflected to get shape D. And well, we can know where the line could be because there's 2 points where the shapes touch each other. Okay, so that's possibly where the line of reflection could be. And actually, if we continue this line going horizontally, we would indeed get the line of reflection for this shape, okay? And this line was called y equals 1. Because at any point along this line, the y coordinate would always be 1, okay? So very well done if you said y equals 1. Okay, it's good work today, guys. And we'll see you next lesson. Bye now.